Hi there, I'm Jessica Wagner, Manager of Workforce and Economic Development with the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being with us. I know many of you have been heavily involved with the PPP process, and we at the Chamber, we've been working hard to give you the latest information, not only about that program, but any other programs or resources available to help us through sort of the economic recovery process. But today we're going to specifically talk about the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, and I have several guests with me today who know a lot more than I do that can help us sort of walk through this next phase, the forgiveness piece of the program. So today I'm joined by Alex Kohls, Senior Area Manager with the Small Business Administration, Todd Roberts, Director at BradyWare, and Kristen Spenceley from KeyBank. Hi everybody, thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks Jessica.
So before we kind of dive into the forgiveness aspect, I just kind of want to back up a minute and kind of see how we got to this point. You know, the PPP, we heard a lot of news about it. It was part of the $2 trillion CARES Act legislation, and the goal was to help businesses cover the cost of payroll during this pandemic. In total, we're looking at almost $660 billion in funding for the PPP. So a lot of opportunities for a variety of businesses to get some help through this process. The most, I guess, sort of interesting part or something that is of high interest to our members and really the entire business community is this loan forgiveness aspect. And loans can be forgiven up to $10 million per borrower, but they have to meet a certain set of criteria. And that's kind of where we are today. So Alex, let me start with you. You know, you and I have had multiple meetings and webinars together at the beginning of this process, and here we are now. So let's dive into it a little bit. When we talk about this forgiveness process, what does that look like?
Okay, well, the forgiveness aspect of it is something that you would work with your lender. You need to collect the specific documents, fill out the application. And, you know, there are two types of applications. You have the easy application and then the regular application. And those are things you fill out, you put in the information that they're asking, and it kind of, as you go through the application, it calculates what the forgiveness amount is going to be for your specific loan.
Okay.
And so it's a fairly, at least from the high level, it's a fairly simple process of the forgiveness part, yeah.
And these two applications both can be found online. So it's an online sort of portal system that businesses can look into.
Yes, yeah, they would. It does depend on the lender. It's how the lender wants to handle it. As long as they're collecting the information we want, they can use their own types of forms for it. And so it is an online portal. So it's just working with the lender that issued the application for you.
Well, since you mentioned lender, let's go to Kristen then. So Kristen, obviously, you know, each bank, sort of like Alex mentioned, has their own process for how they want to do this. But could you talk broadly about not only maybe Key's role, but just sort of in general, what is the lender's role in this process?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is, you know, data collecting and making sure we get the required information from the client. So we'll take a look at, you know, making sure the application's filled out completely, all the paperwork that is required as supporting documentation is provided, and, you know, for any missing information to go back to the client for that. You know, as Alex said, every bank's going to be a little bit different. Some may choose to make it a paper process. You know, many banks, including Key, is making it integrating SBA's application into an online application through KeyBank, just to make things a little bit more seamless for the client to submit it to SBA.
Great, thank you. And Todd, we don't want to forget about accountants in this process. So can you kind of tell us where you come in the process and how you can help businesses and your clients through all of this?
Sure. You know, when you look at it as a general rule, the loan was for 2.5 months of payroll, and the initial cover period was only to be 8 weeks. Once that was extended to 24 weeks, it becomes pretty simple to show that you've spent the money in the vast majority of cases, because you've got a 24-week period to do it. The catch that is going to be there still is the full-time equivalent test. So you've got to have maintained your employment or at least replace those employees. So that may be where people get surprised a little bit as far as the whole loan being not forgiven. But I think the payroll services will be crucial in providing a lot of that information. I think the major companies have worked on PPP forgiveness spreadsheets, but if they don't have that, we can help with those calculations.
Yeah, you definitely want to double check those formulas there. So Todd,
Okay.
you sort of mentioned what will need to be required as far as the full-time equivalency. Alex and maybe Kristen, if you want to jump in, what else sort of type of paperwork or information, documentation are you looking for in order to have that loan be forgiven?
Well, I know that, and all this information, I do want to say that right now, that if you go to the U.S. Treasury website under their COVID relief programs, you will find all this information on there, and that is the most up-to-date information. Will be posted on that. But anyway, they're going to be looking at bank account statements, tax forms like payroll tax filings, state quarterly business and individual like employee wage documentation. And I just want to say that, yes, there is the full-time equivalent test, but if you've been unable to hire somebody or you've offered them their job back and they did not accept it, don't panic as a business, because there are some exemptions, but you do have to have the documentation that you offered the job and the documentation that they refused it. And then you haven't been able to find anybody qualified to fill that. So there are some exemptions in there if you do fall short on that full-time equivalency test.
Kristen, anything from you that sort of just stands out at this point? And as Alex said, gave that website there because we know it changes. So anything else in your mind that kind of you just know that you want to make sure your clients have and ready to produce?
And for the application itself, it's getting those payroll records and the supporting documentation. But my continued message to my clients has been just be patient. Obviously, a vast volume of KeyBank's clients and every bank's clients have obtained this loan. It's a new loan for the bank as it is for the client. It's a new process for us. And it's going to take some time to get through all those applications. You have that 1 year of no payments due under the loan, so it does give us a little bit of breathing room to work through getting all these loan applications processed.
And when are we, and again, knowing things could change, when is the deadline to get everything filed in the portal, either through your lender or directly with the SBA?
Oh gosh, yeah. Alex, maybe you can help on the deadline to apply for forgiveness.
Well, at this time, it's 10 months. There's a 10-month deadline to have everything in today. That's the deadline. So that could be changed, obviously. It could, most likely if it changed, it would be an extension as opposed to shortcutting it. But as far as it stands today, it's 10 months.
So bottom line, keep somebody like Kristen and Todd in your Rolodex, because that's what they're there for, to help you keep track of any changing deadlines, maybe any additional paperwork that you need. Kind of before we wrap up and I sort of ask, where your clients and where other businesses can go to get more information, I want to give you guys kind of just a couple minutes. We can go around and just see what's sort of the one message you want people to go away with today as it stands now. So Alex, I'm going to start with you. Any kind of sort of a final thought or word of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I can say is maintain that good open communication with your lender and with your accountant, because they are key in this forgiveness application. They're going to help you get the information you need and make sure it's correct, and just get it all set up for you. So you need to maintain that good relationship.
Well, Kristen and Todd, that's a pretty good endorsement there. Kristen, any thoughts, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I would just echo that, because every bank's process is going to be slightly different. Make sure you find out at your lender, who is that point of contact for you, whether it's someone locally at a branch, is it someone at a support center? I know here at Key, we are designating for each person that has a forgiveness application coming, we're going to have an expert matter person assigned to that client, so they have a resource to talk to. So hopefully other banks are following suit, that there is some resource line that can help with those questions and make sure you understand the process for your bank on getting the forgiveness submitted.
That's good. That's really good advice. Todd, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, there is flexibility in when you file the application and when you terminate or close off your cover period. So if the first time you go through there, you don't get full forgiveness because you haven't met the FTE requirements, there's still time to do that. So don't panic. It may or may not make economic sense to do so, but you've got the ability still to get the full forgiveness.
I like that advice, Todd. I think that's really key, because we know this is new, and so rely on your experts and your network, your lender and your CPA to get through this. But no, if the first time doesn't work, double check it. That's a really good point to be flexible. So quickly, Alex, you already talked about a website where folks can go to from the Treasury
Yes.
for the latest information. Can you give that website address, or at least where they can go, one more time?
Yeah, it's definitely the U.S. Treasury, because when information comes out on that, we get notice from headquarters in DC, SBA headquarters, telling us the latest information is on the Treasury website. So that's what we definitely go to for all of our reference. And then they could call me locally if they have questions. My number is 614-633-6372. And it may take me a day or two to get back to you, but I do return calls.
Thank you, Alex. Kristen, what about you guys at Key, if you have a resource for businesses?
Other than KeyBank.com may have some information. I mean, ultimately, we're going to defer to that SBA and Treasury websites, for finding examples of the forms. Once we do roll out our application here at Key, there will be a link to a new online portal that's sent to our clients where they can get more detailed information as it pertains to our bank.
Kristen, we were losing you there a little bit with the audio, but bottom line, you can go to KeyBank, at least for now. There may be more information once KeyBank starts to roll out that portal, but bottom line, check with Treasury, SBA, and then, secondly, get with your lender, right? Because that's sort of your expert matter, people that can help you get through this. Todd, what about you guys at BradyWare, sort of a resource page where folks can go?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to discuss it with your lender, because each bank does have a little bit different program we're seeing. We have done internal training as far as getting our people up to speed with, what's going to be needed for the applications and how to compute the different numbers required. So, we can be reached by email. My email is troberts@bradyware.com, or my phone number at 937-913-2511.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you all for taking some time out of what will probably be a very busy week for all of you and for the weeks to come. Alex Kohls from SBA, thank you. Kristen Spenceley from KeyBank, and Todd Roberts from BradyWare, thank you again for taking time to speak with our members. And remember, members, you can always get the latest information from the Chamber's website. Also, make sure you're logging into your member hub. There is a resources section, and that is where we post information, events, trainings, videos like this one that is exclusive just to you as Chamber members. So thank you again. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.